Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with Golden Opportunities Coaching and Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channels. We continue our World Class Championship Wrestling review series here. Specifically today, or this episode, we're looking at the February 26th edition in 1983 of World Class Championship Wrestling, and a notable program for a number of reasons here. Most notably because there's a bunch of debuts in the program. So I don't know if maybe there's a bunch of new people, maybe there's a bunch of talent trades that took place a few weeks before at the beginning of the year, and maybe everybody's coming in at the end of February. Don't know what that looks like, but certainly notable talents here in this position. This is the February 26th, 1983 edition. Remember, the previous 2 weeks are not available on the network. I don't know if they took place or not. I do know we are going to go through every available episode. Pre-match interview with King Kong Bundy. Bundy once again hyping the Devastation Incorporated group. We do, by the end of the program, find out the identity of the boss for Devastation Incorporated. We'll get there in a minute. There is a Devastation Incorporated press conference, but it's not discussed here. So I'm thinking those are taped on two separate occasions or something. For it to air in the same program but not to be addressed is interesting. Magic Dragon, former Hart and Hussein member, is the opponent for Bundy here. They don't really acknowledge that terribly much in the commentary. Also, Magic Dragon wearing a new mask, red and black, primarily red with black tassel. Dragon does not have the skills to fight against Bundy here. Bundy using power and dominance early, but you see Bundy using holds. I mean, the chinlock doesn't surprise me, but Bundy using arm bars and the like just is surprising. They do stand and have a striking war, which Bundy wins due to size. Bundy also sends him to the outside of the floor through the middle rope, so Bundy not particularly worried about following that many rules unless absolutely necessary. He uses the power double-handed choke in there, going several minutes. Backbreaker by Bundy near the end of the match, and that leads to the big splash. Bundy's splash, something to see, because I've never heard it being unsafe, but it looks like $1 million. It looks like it hurts quite a bit. Bundy gets a victory off that splash. Then we move into an interview with two new talents. Back-to-back, Iceman King Parsons, who is new to the area, tells us that his name comes from formerly delivering ice, and he was called the Iceman because he had hands as cold as ice. Also, he mentions that he's friends with the Von Erichs, so that will get him over relatively quickly. Then, without taking much of a break, we see that Jimmy Garvin, alongside Sunshine, comes in. He says that his matches will not be allowed to be televised. He is in a very gaudy-looking golden shiny jacket. Sunshine is wearing a bit of what I guess at the time would be a formal dress. He says he wants exposure, but he doesn't want people to see him wrestle. They haven't earned it. Arman Hussein is in a pre-match interview where he talks about Yatsu and others and kind of bringing in other people. King Parsons and Hussein are up next in a match, and this match is relatively basic. Parsons gets a few offensive maneuvers in, but a very quick match. Obviously, Iceman King Parsons, a mainstay in World Class, I think through the end of the promotion, if not very near. I don't know that he ever goes that many other places. Perhaps a Texas guy who didn't really want to leave, I don't know. But Parsons there for quite a bit outside or within the company, and literally less than maybe 2 or 3 minutes maximum I don't even think it went that long, maybe a minute and a half, actually, with Parsons and Hussein. Parsons gaining the victory. So obviously they're putting him over really strong. Jimmy Garvin comes out to wrestle a match, however, refuses to wrestle on television, just straight up and flat out refuses. He is not. And then Garvin refuses to uh, be videotaped for his matches, which is an interesting way to go about it. I mean, it's a good way to um, inspire sight in the arena and bringing people to the arenas on purpose. Devastation Incorporated press conference. We learn that Skandar Akbar, who the reporters in the press conference seem to know his last name, even though he doesn't say it, has Kamala on the way, Kabuki, and Bundy. So that's an amazing trio of individuals to control. But Akbar is with World Class for the next several years. Um, that it's a good build to Devastation Incorporated. We then move on to the main event, and this is I believe, the first time that we see the Freebirds and the Von Erichs in a six-man tag team affair. They get a good bit of time, probably closer to 15 minutes than not, and many of the stars are around the ring, kind of in a lumberjack form, to go to make sure the match stays in hand. Of course, Kerry and Gordy, I guess not of course, but Kerry and Gordy start off early. Um, Hayes and Kerry are also in there a bit. So Kerry is the predominant, I wouldn't say star of the match, but at the same time, a lot of the match focuses around Kerry's battle with Gordy and um, Gordy and Michael Hayes, and Kevin's in there. There is a belly flop maneuver where it looks like Gordy's going to go over the top rope after Kevin moves out of the way, and instead he bounces off the rope, bounces back, and manages to land in the middle of the ring. So I mean, they're having fun, and you can see even with something as simple as a series of drop kicks on the Freebirds, you can see that the arena is filled with fun and joy, but also the guys in the ring are legitimately looking like we enjoy working with each other. We enjoy the process of building these matches. Obviously, over the next several years, you're going to see a bunch of Freebirds and Von Erich matches through the remainder of '83. But then when you really look at it, it is a it's an interesting time because I don't know, without the Freebirds Von Erichs feud, that we don't have less impact for the Von Erichs. Michael Hayes takes a good bit of punishment. Gordy comes back in, and Kerry gets a measure of revenge on Gordy. The crowd is with everything. I'd say there's a small, ever so small, maybe 5% pocket that seems to be cheering for the Freebirds, but 90% or 95% Von Erichs is reasonable. But even here, the Freebirds have their fans. There's a falling suplex, which looks like a brainbuster by Michael Hayes. I don't know if he lost him or if that was actually the intention, because it's a vertical suplex, and then Hayes just falls backwards and dumps Kerry on his head partially. It's a really interesting thing. I would go out of my way if I'm here to watch this particular episode, because there's so many unique debuts, and this match itself is good enough that I think anybody who's been following the world class run, to see the first six-man between the Freebirds and Von Erichs. Freebirds do take the loss in this one. Michael Hayes less than satisfied with that. And as we move into March, doesn't really necessarily seem like much has been settled again with the Freebirds and Von Erichs, but we've got a good enough taste that going into the spring months, it's going to be good. The Von Erichs do close the program saying they have not gotten enough of the Freebirds and they want more, but it feels good. And the six-man tag team championships are somewhere down the road for the Von Erichs for sure. But until next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.